Hey, good morning. Welcome CPR family to Reflect and Revive. I apologize for those who caught that last week. My lovely bride informed me after we had recorded and posted that I said revive and reflect, and I sincerely from the bottom of my heart apologize and hope you can forgive me. Welcome to Reflect and Revive. I just want to take some time out of this morning to just share a couple thoughts that I've had, and actually this is something that, you know, Pastor has me do a couple more of these devotions that it's kind of going to be on the same theme, on the same thought of story of my life. So there's this boy that several years back I was working in a child development program, and there was this kid Zach. Zach's probably about 9 or 10 years old, and we were all out and had all the kids out there and on the playground, and you know, he's doing his thing on the swings, and he did one of those numbers where, you know, when kids are swinging and then they get to pretty much their highest point and then they'll let go and, you know, fly off and hit the ground, and sometimes they'll roll, or, you know, not Zach. He actually hit the ground and straight up just face planted, and there was, you know, different pieces of dirt and just that he had all over his face. And so, you know, first I'm laughing, but then he's not moving, so suddenly I'm trying to stop laughing because I don't want to make it seem like I'm laughing at a child who's hurt. But he's on the ground, so I go check on him. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, Zach, are you doing okay?" You know, and he's getting up and he's just wiping this stuff off his face, and he's like, "Oh, yes, Mr. Tim, it's the story of my life," you know, and it just it kind of made me laugh at that moment. You know, I took him inside. We kind of got him cleaned up and taken care of, but it just reminded me this morning, think about this, that you know, the story of my life is that everyone loves a good story. In fact, some of us love it so much it actually drives us to stay up longer than we anticipated. You know, you start binge watching or binge reading, and you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna watch one more episode, and next thing you know, you're 4 or 5 episodes later going, where in the world did the time go? The hours have escaped us, and we just can't seem to get enough, because there's something about the plot lines, there's something about the characters in these movies or on TV, in the books, that just simply captivate us. Maybe their struggles or their battle to do what's right, their complicated relationships, okay? And there's something about a story, a good story, that we just can't resist. Maybe the reason is because they stir something up in our lives, and all that drama. You know, you got just these great plot lines, these great stories. You know, some people just love underdogs, and so you watch a movie about an underdog who you know, comes out on top, and maybe we can't fully relate to their situation, but definitely the emotions of it, or the the frustration of it, the comedy of it, right? The journey of it. We catch a glimpse of truth that we know about our own lives, because the truth is that we're all living out this story. Every single one of us has a life story, and whether you're younger or older, whether you're single or married, whether you're still in school, whether you're, I mean, not many people are in school right now unless it's online. You know, we can kind of come to this conclusion, is that, you know, we all have one thing in common, and that is our story is still in progress. Okay, and it made me think about this, where, you know, I'm a big fan. Whenever I have some time to, I really enjoy putting a puzzle together, right? And sometimes it feels like life is a lot like that, like it's a puzzle. You know, in fact, we don't get this box here where it's like, okay, well, this is your life, okay, it's what it looks like, and so you just open it up and it's already put together for you. No, it doesn't quite work like that. In fact, they give you these small pieces, and this one is 1,000 pieces, right? And so you get these small pieces, and so you're looking at it and you're just going, okay, so what do I do first? Okay, so I gotta lay the foundation. Okay, so what do I do after that? Get the borders, you know, kind of figure out how to put these pieces together, right? Because it doesn't come together, or isn't put together already for us. And in fact, in movies and shows, you know, I know some people, and I'm not gonna call them out, I know some people who like to look up the ending before they watch the ending, and that used to drive me crazy. I'm going, you know, like, if I already know what's going to happen, if I already know the ending, why am I going to watch it? Why am I going to invest all this time into this show if I already know what's going to happen? And unfortunately, it's kind of funny because I know those things. You know, I know I want to sit down and watch this show and try to figure something out or be surprised by it and not looking it up. But when it comes to my life, I kind of want to know what's going to happen, right? Like, I want to know how it's going to all come together. I don't want to live it out day by day. I don't want to just, you know, I want to have it all figured out and say, hey, Tim, like, here's your plan, here's what's going on, here's what's going to happen, you know, here's how it's all going to turn out. Okay, and so I want that same thing instead of living out the adventure of this thing called life, of just having all the answers there for you or having everything put together there for you. And it kind of reminded me of a couple different stories. One of them is in Genesis chapter 37. We're going over this with the students right now. We're going on a series, and so I've been spending a lot of time reading over in Genesis 37 about the story of Joseph. And for those of you who know about the story of Joseph, you know, Joseph had, at a young age, Joseph had these dreams. God had given him these dreams, and he had essentially just promised him all these great things. And it was, you know, as he's looking at it, he's like, man, this is so great. Like, I'm going to rule over, you know, my siblings. I'm going to rule over my parents. I'm going to rule my, like, I've got all this promise, all these things that God is speaking in my life. And so he goes from a person who has a lot of promise to someone who is, and if you're part of the students in City Point students, you can get like a little bit of a spoiler alert here if you don't know the story for this coming Wednesday, but he has all this promise to someone who is now in a pit because, you know, his brothers get so upset and his brothers get so angry, and of course they beat him up, and instead of killing him, they're like, hey, you know, one of the brothers steps up and says, hey, let's not do that. Let's throw him into this pit and we'll sell him, okay? And so, you know, we're gonna kind of go on step by step here within the next couple devotions, but he goes from this person of promise into this pit, okay? And so as he's sitting there, many times I'm sure we've thought, where it's like, God, you promised me something, or you said something was gonna happen, or you spoke something over me, or you told me something, and this is not how I had it planned out. This is not what I thought it was going to look like. This is, you know, some of these pieces, they're a little bit bigger, and I'm trying to, you know, understand how these pieces are going to work together on this puzzle, so we can see the bigger picture, and so we can see everything going on. And so, you know, I don't know if you've been there. I've certainly been there, where you know, God has spoken something to me, or something happens and it plays out a lot differently than I thought it would. But one of the things that I've learned in the midst of this story, in this life that I'm you know, living, is in John 10:10, where it says this. It says, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. You know, and understanding that in this life, you know, although there are things God's speaking to us, you know, the enemy, and he's coming to steal what God has spoken. He's coming to kill, to destroy. He's coming to take away, trying to take away, I guess, if we're looking at it as a puzzle, take away those pieces. Have you ever put together an entire puzzle and then you got to the very end and you were missing one piece and you have no idea where it's at? Like, I have been there. It is frustrating. I would go as far as to say infuriating. You know, I went out, did this one time several years back. My mom and dad got me the city outline of Chicago, you know, and I put it all together, and there was one piece missing, and I scoured the entire house, looked through my car, you know, I was looking everywhere for this piece, you know, and I finally found it. But that's how it is sometimes, where it's just, you know, you feel like it's so frustrating because you feel like some pieces are being stolen or they're being taken, you know. And so, you know, Jesus is reminding us, I have come to give them life, to give it to the full. And although we may not know what it will look like, we do know that we can trust the one whose hands that it's in if we give it to God. So I just want to encourage you with that this morning, that if you're in a place right now where everything's going good, just kind of you can kind of write some of these down, or think about this and maybe pull it up later whenever things aren't going so well. Maybe if you're in a place right now where things aren't going well, just have hope, because Jesus says you're going to have many trials, but I've overcome the world. We know we can give it to God, and God is for us, and his heart is good, and he loves you, and he wants to give you that life. So, no matter where your pieces are connecting right now, just trust God with it. He's got your back. All right, I love you guys, and I look forward to talking with you guys again soon. God bless.